Welcome to the Citizen Channel and Matchday programme. Watch as we continue the away programmes, continue looking at them. We've looked at 6 so far, and Leicester City head the list, 7.5 out of 10, and West Ham have also got 7.5 out of 10, but I just rated Leicester a little bit higher. We did West Ham last time, so they sat in second spot now. But today we're going to go up to the 6th of November 2021, and these guys obviously usually a pretty good programme. So it's usually competing, certainly top 3, certainly top 5. Last 2 or 3 seasons I've been doing this. So we're going to, of course, have a look at the United review programme from the 6th of November 2021 against Manchester City. Yes, good result for us. Let's see what the result is for the United programme. Yeah, 84 pages, which is bog standard, but obviously we have got this bigger size, haven't we? So yeah, more magazine-y type rather than programme type, to be honest with you. There's 23 pages of ads in it, which is about 27%, which is about middling of the ads and promo stuff and shirt sponsors, that sort of thing. So that's about middle of the road, 23 pages. £3.50, again, a good price. That's the standard price. It's on currently only Leicester City who've come out less than that. That's helped them get to top of the table as well, just being £3. We had our usual flick through, and it looked okay, actually. It looked, without being brilliant, it didn't look brilliant. It's a little bit better when I started to go through it, but it didn't look brilliant. It's always nicely laid out, plenty of colour. And of course, stapled, you know me, I love me staples, because, we do get a little poster in it anyway. So let's have a look at the little notes we've made on this United programme, United review. Yeah, of course, you're going to start with Ollie, aren't you? Still at the wheel, of course, and he did comment that they needed a peak performance for this game. That wasn't forthcoming too much, was it? The match section looks at both teams, form and tactics expected, etc., etc. So that was an interesting little article. Added impact time. A look at the late show in Atalanta. So yeah, some images and a little look back at Mr. Ronaldo saving them again over in Atlanta in the Champions League. Worth knowing is just a look at the goings on at the club over the last 2 weeks. So it's just a summary of what's been happening with players, etc., anniversaries, stuff like that. So that's okay. And of course, because of the time of year, they have the paying our respects section, which is nice. I mean, it shows a list of the United players who obviously lost their lives while they were still obviously as United players, and it's a nice one actually, because obviously there would have been a lot of fans have lost their lives, and they just picked one particular fan and a little section, a little paragraph on him. So I thought that was a nice little touch in that section as well, for certainly for the families and friends of the guy they mentioned in it. Obviously relatives, obviously long lost relatives, and not long lost, is it? From back in time, obviously, but they will still remember. Obviously, will still remember the guy they mentioned in it. Cavani, was hoping to feature in this. With the club he's come to love, so it didn't take him very long, did it? But apparently, he gets on well with all the clubs he plays for and the fans, so that's not unusual. And he promises to wear his shirt with pride. Such a shame some of the other players didn't do that on the day as well, wasn't it? And I mentioned of the sort of weather in Manchester. They always get that digging about the weather in Manchester, don't they? And other derbies he's played around the world, which is okay, interesting in and around the world. Obviously, other teams, he didn't know what this was going to be like because he'd not played the Manchester derby before. But just little comments on other derbies he'd played for other teams that he'd played for. Then you get the City piece. It's just a straightforward 5 pages, but it's a nice little introduction with a look at City's season so far, and how we can be beaten. Obviously, Ollie didn't read that, did he? He didn't read those instructions on how we could be beaten. Basically, it was just to play like Crystal Palace did. So there you go. No great insight at all in that one. The spotlight just concentrate on certain players as well, so it doesn't sort of do little pen picks of all the players. Just looks at certain players of the City team. And there's a nice piece of time about, my history stuff, and it looks back at City's 1904 FA Cup win, of course, the first Manchester club to win a major trophy. And it was nice because I had comparisons with how United were doing at the time. Obviously, not as good as City. But I had comparisons with how United were doing at that same point in time that City won the FA Cup, and talk about Billy Meredith and the fact he would go on to play for United, etc., etc. So yeah, that was pretty good. But only one page though, so a bit of a shame because it is a very good little section. I wouldn't mind seeing at least a couple of pages on it. Paddy Creran, like we have Mike Summerby, of course, buzzer in ours. Paddy Creran does United stuff, doesn't he? So it's yeah, it's okay. A comment on City and a look back at an old player, does an A to Z as well. So he picked on Dennis Irwin in this, but yeah, similar to Summerby, perhaps a little bit more. I said with the look back at an old player that remembers. I mean, that's a nice touch as well, which is slightly better than we do with that buzzer, of course. And an interesting one, yeah, I mean, we've touched upon this in my history vlogs. Lodging with the Neighbours, of course, which features when they used Main Road, when United was, Old Trafford was bombed during the war. And it includes images of Old Trafford bombed and Old Trafford when it was reopened, if you like, after they went back there after the war. And of course, Main Road, obviously, for a local derby game, for instance, where obviously City were playing United at Main Road, but it was obviously United at home, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it was a bit. They did point out that United were getting bigger crowds than City at the time, and they were, because obviously United had a great team and City didn't. So in those days, most fans did go to both. I mean, a lot of fans went both to Old Trafford and Main Road, but obviously, with both playing at Main Road, obviously United were playing more attractive football, so they were attracting more fans. And unfortunately, as we featured in our history vlogs, etc., some of those fans who were more inclined to watch City when United went to Old Trafford, they went with them because they were the better team, so they became more, if you like, the team they wanted to watch more than City, perhaps, even though, as I said, they did probably watch both teams. But yeah, we should, big mistake by City, but hey, we're just being neighbourly at the time, wasn't it? Perhaps we wouldn't have done that now if we know what we know now. We probably would, because we're that sort of guys, aren't we? But yeah, so that was a nice article, actually, very interesting. It's Inside United, of course. The club magazine gets a little plug, which you'd expect. There's a pull-out poster, as I said, of Mr. De Gea. There'll be an image up there so the kids can undo those staples and neatly put it on the wall without too much damage being done. Tangled Up in Blue is good because he looks at Ronaldo's games against City. Yeah, I was given some duff information on how many games he played, actually. He's played a few more games than I thought. I mean, his first United game against City was in December 2003, and his last one was in May 2009. And he actually played 11 games, won 7, drew 1, and lost 3. So not great for us. And also, it just features 3 games he played for Madrid against us as well, which, of course, again, we didn't win any of those, did we? There was a couple of wins for Madrid and a draw. So yeah, that was interesting. I like that Tangled Up in Blue. I say it's all about Ronaldo, but yeah, interesting. Magnificent Trailblazers, because yeah, that's a look at a guy called Dennis Walker, who was the first player of mixed heritage to play for United. So that was a nice little history article. The Junior Reds, of course, a little all kids stuff with Fred the Red, little questions and quizzes and spot this and spot that sort of thing. And a 10 Derby-based quiz questions aimed at anyone, really, not just for the kids. Just a little question. I'll give you the answer right at the end. Yeah, this is one for you to test your brain on and have a think. Well, at the back of your mind, well, you watch the rest of this, or you probably know it offhand. But yeah, the question there after the Etihad, which current Premier League club is the next closest to Old Trafford? So, which is the next one after the Etihad as far as distance to Old Trafford? Premier League teams only, please. So have a look at that. There you go. So I'll give you the answer in a minute. The month ahead is, as it says, just looks forward to the EDS and under 23s, ladies and stuff like that. An interesting one, I thought, oh, this looks good. Main Road memorabilia, but it's not as good as it sounds because it looks back at, I think I may have covered this as well somewhere, a pre-season tournament at Main Road in August 1987, which also featured South American team Atletico Mineiro and PSV Eindhoven. Of course, we played United and got beat 3-1 in that first game. And of course, they would go on then to play the final against Mineiro. So it was noticeable for Brian McClare. The thing was he scored 5 goals in 2 games, yeah, because he obviously in both those games against City and Mineiro. So it's just sort of mentioning that he'd scored 5 goals in 2 days at Main Road, so that's not a bad little stat. Little quiz question, that, is it, if you think about it? But there you go. And there is a City pennant involved, but I say the Main Road memorabilia, I thought it was going to be something a bit more City-fied than it was, but hey, there you go. And 199 and counting we finish off with, which is Luke Shaw, and this was going to be his 200th game. So just a page, a very brief look at some of his 199 other games, which was okay. So there you go. Yeah, big and bold, as it usually is. I have seen better United reviews, to be honest with you, against City over the past. Certainly, I think there was one a couple of seasons ago was excellent. I think it was for the Carabao Cup semi-final. One of those was a brilliant magazine, but this doesn't quite reach that heights. But there's a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, my sort of favourites in that were the Time Vault, which was good, which obviously looked at City in 1904, but again, featured what United were doing as well. I like that. Lodging with the Neighbours was good. What fools we were, for letting them do that. But that was a good piece from United's perspective, if you like. And of course, I always love a pull-out poster, but that will be staying intact. I have no reason to pull out Mr. De Gea and stick it on a wall, or have a well, I do have grandchildren, girls who are United. Well, the dad's a United fan. They're not overly bothered, but I won't be inclined to pull it out and give it them to stick on the wall. That's for sure. Anyway, so that De Gea is sticking firmly into in my programme. But the Ronaldo against City was interesting as well. It's a shame we didn't win a few more, but at least we can add another win to that now, can't we? So at least we can make another loss for United, so it doesn't look quite as bad now as it did before this game. Anyway, so that was okay. And of course, the history feature on Dennis Walker, the mixed heritage guy, was a good one as well. So, as I'd expect, a good programme, very good programme, but I don't think it's quite enough to make top spot. Looking back at the Leicester and West Ham programmes that both got 7.5, but I think it is deserving of 7.5 out of 10 as well. So I am going to give it 7.5 out of 10, but I am going to put it behind Leicester and West Ham. So I'm going to move the United review programme for this game on the 6th of November. I'm going to move that into third spot. So as I said, it is a good programme, but I think there's just a little bit more in those other two things, history-wise, between the clubs as well. I mean, there is stuff history-wise between the clubs in this, but it's more United-based. I like it where they're a bit more even with the articles as opposed to City and United, or City and West Ham, or City and Leicester. I think they did it a little bit better. So I will give it 7.5 out of 10, but I'll stick it third in the table. I'm not biased, no, nothing to do with that. It's an honest opinion of the magazine, but it is a good magazine. Don't get me wrong, it is very, very good. Is it better than ours? I'd probably say, well, let's look at our derby when we play United to see how that compares. But generally, yes, it is better than ours, unfortunately. I don't like to say it, but that's just a fact of life. Our sort of scores probably about 6.5 out of 10. Sometimes might go to 7. Obviously, Gary James helps in that with the history bit. But yeah. There you go. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. If you've got one, I hope you had a good read through. So, just flick it. I mean, obviously, looking for it, it'll probably take me a good half hour to read bits I was interested in that. So that's not bad going for a programme. Sometimes some you can sort of read 10 or 15 minutes, but there's plenty in it to read anyway. Let me know if you've got that or you're thinking of buying it. It's worth a lot. You can get it from, of course, Reach Sports, who do the City programme. You can get it from there as well. So if you do want to buy it, I think it's a £5 with postage. So if you do want to buy it, put in Reach Sports, and you can get it from there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Next up, what we got now? Oh, you want the quiz answer, don't you? See, I nearly went then, nearly forgot. So, the guest question. After the Etihad, which current Premier League club is next closest to Old Trafford? Well, of course, it's Turf Moor, isn't it? It's Burnley, the answer to the question. There you go. I nearly forgot that myself. I thought it was at the bottom of the page on my script, but there you go. So next up is Aston Villa. So join me for that. See how I think they usually do quite a good one as well. So let's see how they do on the next match day programme. Away version of that match day programme watch. Thanks for watching. We're going to do rest day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other to meet here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps please have a look at my film and TV channel if you get a chance. I try and inform and entertain on there. And I can do with a few more likes on there as well. I get plenty on the football ones, but get them likes, guys, on that. If you can look at a couple of my film reviews or TV reviews, etc. That'd be great. But if you don't worry. I'd love to see you back on here on the Citizen channel. I only ask, please, stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.